Basically, the first two surahs I memorized from the Quran were Ikhlas and Falaq. They are the second to last surahs in the Quran. The last one is Nas, but then the two before are Ikhlas and Falaq. And those are the two that I memorized when I was first learning to pray. They're short, they're simple, they're easy, and their meanings are really, really good. Essentially, those ones were easy for me to memorize because if you watch my first video on how I learned to pray, the link for the video that I used, when he is teaching you how to pray, the two surahs that he's repeating over and over and over and over for each prayer are Ikhlas and Falaq. So I just learned those simply by listening to that, and I didn't even realize what surahs they were until after, and then I kind of realized, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I read the meaning, and now I know the meaning as well. I love Ikhlas. The meaning is amazing, mashallah, and it is something that even though it's short, it is very meaningful. Obviously, all surahs in the Quran are meaningful, but don't feel discouraged because they're short, or you wish you could memorize longer, more elaborate surahs. Start small and then build from there. From there, I then learned Nas, which is the last surah in the Quran. That was fairly easy to learn because it's short as well. Essentially, my approach for learning is I will pick the surah that I want to learn. And right now, I kind of cheated a bit. Initially, I was learning surahs that I liked, or ones that had personal meaning. So two that I because it's recommended typically to start at the end of the Quran, as those are shorter surahs, and then just work your way through. But I did the last three, and then I did Sharh, or the expansion, and I did Doha, the glorious morning light. So those two were because they had particular meaning to me, and I really, really wanted to know them because I really wanted to use them in my prayer, which is fine as well. You can do that. Just typically speaking, the easier option is to start with the shorter surahs and then work your way up. So now I'm doing that, and I'm trying to force myself, because there are ones that I particularly like that I would like to learn first. But I think it would be easier to just go through from the shorter surahs and then into the longer surahs. So basically, once you have picked the surah that you are learning, I first start kind of getting a feel for it I will literally put it on, when I listen to Mishari al-Fasi, and I will put on just that surah and put it on repeat for about a good 20 minutes, and I'll just play over and over. And if it's like a shorter surah, it kind of gets like, oh my gosh, I've heard this so many times. But it starts getting that rhythm in your head, and it helps you to remember it. And so then as you are learning it, when you kind of hit those stumbling blocks, your mind is already programmed. It's like, I don't want to say listening to a song because we shouldn't compare the Quran to music, but if it's so easy to memorize song lyrics, and it's so easy, you hear it over and over, they play the same song on the radio, and then before you know it, you're singing along, which you should be doing anyway. But just saying, that idea that listening to it over and over and over and over again really does get it into your head. And then from there, I will look actually at the transliteration, and then as you're reading it, you kind of get that flow again as well. And make sure that you are reading the English as well, because you do really want to learn what it is you're saying. And I tend to struggle with that now. If it's not a surah that I connect with, I will just learn the Arabic, and then I won't know the meaning of it, and then it's kind of like, well, what's the point really? Because if you're saying it and you don't know the meaning of it, then you're not going to form that connection with it. Even if it's something that you think, oh, I'm not really feeling this one, it's still beneficial, and you should still learn the English. So then from there, I get a flashcard, and I write the transliteration, and then I write the English. And so whenever I'm out or somewhere, and obviously you have it on your phone as well, but I find it helps to have a little card with you, and I'll use it as like my bookmark or something, or if I just happen to have a second in the middle of what I'm doing, take it out and just read through it. So you're constantly reminding yourself of the surah, and you're constantly just repeating it. And it is repetition that really solidifies things into your mind and solidifies things into your memory so that you can hold on to them. And that's a psychology fact. So you find that it's so easy because, you know, when you're constantly exposing yourself to something, and you have to, it's like learning a new language. Like if you focus and practice and learn it, and then you just leave it, you'll forget it and it won't stick. So you really do have to focus on continually reminding yourself and continually refreshing your memory of what it is you are learning. You know, even the surahs that I've already learned, sometimes I'll find like bits and pieces of it, the English I'll forget, so I'll just go back and just read through it and just kind of give myself a refresher, and it's like, right, okay, I know what this means now. And so that way, that links with your prayer as well. So when you are using these surahs that you have learned in your prayer, you are actually connecting with what it is you're saying, and it actually becomes a conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you know, because it's kind of not pointless, but you know, there's not as much meaning if you're just saying all these things and you don't know what it is that you're saying. And I touched on that in my other video as well, which I will link below. Not that it's that hard to find, but you know, if anyone wants the direct link for that. This is important as well. The Quran that I use, ta-da! It is the Holy Quran transliteration, I don't know if this is cutting out, in Roman script with original Arabic text. And it is by Abdullah Yusuf Ali. And essentially, I can't, like, my video camera, it stays in one focus, and that's it. So you can't really see. But I get asked all the time where I got this Quran from. Basically, it has the English, and the transliteration, and the Arabic. And so with that, you know, because I know my Arabic alphabet and a little bit, bits here and there. So I can look at the English, know the meaning, look at the transliteration, know how to say it, know what it's pronounced, and then link the transliteration to the Arabic. When, you know, say the surah starts with Alhamdulillah, you can find the certain letters from Alhamdulillah, and by the sounds of it, because you know, you say the Alhamd, you can find that in there as well. So it's like if you know the sound of it and you know the Arabic letters, you can kind of start to see, okay, that's how this word is formed and that's how this word is formed. And obviously you would need more practice and stuff to become fluent in reading Arabic, but it's just nice to be able to kind of see that connection from one language to the other. It's really beautiful. But I think as well, it has been easier for me to learn surahs that I connect with. So I'm not entirely sure if I will continue going on this boom, 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 boom timeline of just doing it straight through. I might jump around a bit, I don't know. You know, I think it really is dependent on your own personal viewpoint. I'm just saying it's easier to go through in like a systematic, orderly fashion, but it's also easier to memorize surahs that you connect with, I think. Like Doha, like I will never forget, like I cannot forget Doha, because the meaning that comes with it is what like I connected to. Like mashallah, I use Doha all the time in my prayers. And same with Sharp, or the expansion. That surah is like mashallah. And those two are like my favorite that I use in prayer at the minute. But inshallah, someday I'll be able to use like the really long surahs. But right now, those are the ones I really connected to. So, you know, not saying don't limit yourself, because then again, that can lead to discouragement if you're so focused on memorizing it in order. If you come to one that you don't really connect with, it kind of can discourage you from carrying on. And you just need to be persistent. Like it's something that requires sabr, which is patience and persistence, and you need to just kind of stick with it. And I think also with anything, when you're learning something new and you're trying to accomplish something, whether it's learning a new language or it's something you want to do, you want to get this job, you want to do that, you want to do this, is you really have to program your mind for success. And you have to envision yourself doing this thing and that thing. Like, imagine someone coming up to you and being like, recite whatever, recite Surah Al-Kahf, recite Surah Al-Baqarah, like, you know, and you can just, done. Or, you know, okay, say in Surah Maryam, just start from verse 17 and you could just do it. Like, subhanallah, that's crazy. Like, that is crazy. Being able to do that would be like the most amazing thing. So I think you really just have to envision yourself being able to do this, and that will keep you from getting discouraged, and be consistent with it. And you can see progress. Like, you know, I didn't know a couple months ago, didn't know like anything from the Quran. And alhamdulillah, now, you know, I've got a bank of surahs that I can use in my prayers. Consistently kind of look at how far you've come and how much you have learned. So when you do come to a surah that may be difficult for you, and you may be stuck on it for months, and you find that you can't grasp it, look at how far you've come, and maybe that'll be what it takes to give you that extra push to be like, right, okay, I can do this, like I can memorize more, and my brain can take more, it really can. Yeah, that's just my kind of system of how I do it, and a couple tips. This is a bit of a short video, but you know, it's fairly simple. It just does require a lot of patience and consistency, and really dedication to memorizing Quran and memorizing, you know, the greatest blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so that in our prayers we can have the widest range of conversation with Him, inshallah.